welcome back to my Astro Imaging Journey channel. In the last episode, it was real quick capturing the Comet using SGP. As you can see here, I've already moved all of those files over to a Comet directory, Comet, and then my originals. And as you can also see here, we've got red, blue, green. Don't know why I went RBG instead of RGB, but it is what it is. They are sorted by the date they were modified or created. So what do we do after that? Well, I've already copied them over into frame by frame. So as you can see, the first three, if we sort by that, date modified, RBG, and then we'll have frame 2. This is for a little bit more advanced thing I want to try to do later, but the first thing I want to try to do is a slideshow. So as you can see, I've already got them all copied over here from the originals folder. I've already created and aligned an ABE and an export. We'll get to those a little bit later. And so the first thing we need to do is, if we tried to go into PixInsight, and it's going to sort these by the name, not by the date, or the date rather. So all the reds will lumped together, and then the blues and the greens and so on and so forth. So the first thing we want to do, since we want these to be in order, is to rename these. Now there is a free utility out there, bulk rename utility. It can be done in Linux, but since I'm on a Windows box, I had to go and download this utility. And let's see, we want the slideshow directory, and we've got the current name and the new name, and we want to sort by modified or created. Well, we can't do created, so we have to do modified. And just make sure they're all, yep, okay. So that went to 127 red, okay. So we will leave these sorted by the modified date. Ideally, these would have been the originals, and the created date would have been used, but since I had them in the originals directory and then copied them to the slideshow directory, it has a new created date, unfortunately. So, all right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is select the files that we want to modify. So the first thing I did was I selected the first one, come down, select the last one, and I just like to scroll up just to be safe. And then we're going to use fixed, and as you can see, the new name has changed. And I'm just going to give it a name of slideshow frame underscore. Case will be the same, and numbering. So numbering will be suffix, start at 1, increment 1, but we want to pad, because if you'll notice as we go down, we end up with triple digits. And PixInsight will do 1, 10, 11, 100. It won't go 1, 2, 3. It'll look at the first digit first and then do 1, 10, 11 through 19, then go to 100, 101, so on and so forth. So we need to make sure we pad this. There we go. Okay, so we pad it 3. Whoop. There we go. So now 001, 002, they should get processed in the appropriate order. And that should be everything we need to do. We've got it on the back end here. So we'll just go ahead and do a rename. And okay. Okay. And I can minimize that. And there we are. So now those are all good to go. So I will now close this out. Let me just scroll up 1 second here. Okay, yep. All right, so we'll close this out. Let me bring up PixInsight. Okay, now we've got PixInsight. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to blink all of these. Now there is a reason for this. Or actually, no, I want to align all these. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my, what was that, process, star alignment. And we're going to add the files. Slideshow. And we're going to copy all of them. And we're going to do a reference image, file, and we'll just choose the first one. Generate, okay. Output directory, let's go ahead and move that over to our aligned directory. Here's star detection, star matching. Yeah, I think the defaults will work just fine. We don't need drizzle data. So let's go ahead and run this. While that's running, let's put this over here. And hopefully we'll start seeing some files popping up over here. And yep, they're starting to pop in. So once this completes, we will be back. All right, so as you can see here, 9 failed. Star detection, probably should have blinked those to remove any bad frames, but that's okay. So we're just going to go ahead and clear this out. And now we're going to do, let's do the ABE on each one of those. All right, so let's see here. First we're going to do an image container. And we're going to add the files. Not the aligned. Yeah, the aligned. And then we're going to drag this over here. Actually, before we do that, let's delete that. Output directory. We're going to change that to ABE. And we're going to create that little guy over here. And we can close him out. We're going to come up here to ABE, Automatic Background Extractor. And we're just going to leave everything default except we're going to choose subtraction and discard the background model. I'm going to create a new process there. Close that out. And we're going to bring this, drag it on top of that guy, and okay, that's going to open up a whole bunch of files. There was something that I could have done that I forgot. So we're just going to go ahead and let this run. As you can see, it's creating the files in the directory, and that's really what we want. So we'll be back when that completes. All right, that is completed. So let's see. Got 193 files in that directory. So let me get all this cleaned up and we'll be right back. All right, so let's go back into ABE real quick. Okay, so place target image should have been check marked. That should have prevented all those windows from popping up, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete these. And the next thing we're going to want to do is blink. Now let's go into that ABE directory and select all. Alright, now that that is all selected, let's just go ahead and let's get this opened up a little bit more. And let's just play it at 5/100ths of a second. And you can see it's moving across real nice, but we are getting that strobe effect. So we will pause it. The first thing we want to do is we just want to click this top one, do an automatic histogram transformation on all the images. All right, so now let's see what we get. That looks a lot better. Do get some twinkling in the stars, and there's a couple. It looks like there might be a little off. So let's just step through them. That's one that needs to be removed. That's another one that needs to be removed. It was kind of windy that night, so it does not surprise me that some of these are just a little bit off. Let me get through the rest of these. Back in a minute. All right, so those are all done. So now I'm just going to select them all. I don't know if I have to do that or not, but I do anyways. I'm just going to come down here, crop and create video. Doesn't matter on the program because that's not really what we're after. We're after the individual subs, and we want PNGs. And just going to go ahead and do a run. And while that's running, we can watch this directory. And it's going to start creating the files for us, these PNGs that we will later pull into Lightroom. We'll be back when that completes. Alright, so as you can see, it failed to load the external process to create the movie, but we're going to do this manually anyways, so that really didn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and close this out and get rid of the blank, and let's bring up Lightroom. Alright, so we have Lightroom. Let's get those files imported. Just make sure. Alright, so we're going to import them all. It'll take a minute here. And let's go over to develop. And at this point we can play with the sliders, darken the background a little bit, do a bunch of different stuff. So bear with me, I'm just going to go through this real quick. Alright, so I got that one done the way I want it. So I'm just going to Control A to select everybody and do a sync. And of course, some of these look a little washed out. So I probably pushed it a little bit too much. But that's okay. Now we're going to go up here to slideshow. And I've already got a couple of templates created from before. And this is where, how many frames per second do we want to do it at? And we've got 177 frames. So at 15 frames per second, that'll give us about a 12-second slideshow. So we'll just go ahead and use that one. And we can do an export video. And we'll just call this EP140 Atlas. We will save. And this will take a little bit of time. So we'll be back when that completes. Alright, so that has completed. There's our movie. Let's go ahead and watch it. Yeah, that works. Could have spent a little bit more time on the different RGB and all that good stuff, but trying to make it less strobish. But that's okay. If I really wanted to, I could go and recapture this on another night, only shooting luminance, and make sure everything was good to go. But I did have plans, which will be the subject of a different video coming forward. So as we loop through this one more time, I'm going to say thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please stay safe out there. Please stay healthy and do your part to help flatten this curve in the trying times that we are in. So, as always, clear skies, and I hope you have a good one. Please stick around for the outro.
Thanks for watching yet another episode from the After Imaging Journey channel. Really appreciate your viewership. In our upper right, we have the latest video that I have posted prior to this one. Down in the lower right, we have what YouTube thinks you will enjoy. Below is a subscription link. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you so choose, ring that bell if you want to get notified of something new, and as always, thank you, clear skies. Remember, Duke.